The devil is a liar. Because where we are in God right now, it's so important that we have our mentality there too. The, the enemy wants you to give up. The enemy wanted me to give up at 12 years old. He wanted me to take my life. Go, I got to get her out of here. Because if I can get her out of here now, she wouldn't have such a big mouth right this minute. And I have a big mouth. So he wanted to shut that down. He tried to break me with night terrors, hellhounds. It was always 6 of them, 6 big black dogs that looked like German shepherds. Every time I closed my eyes, they were there. Everywhere I went, they were there. It was so bad till my mom would have to sit by my bedside while I was asleep. Good morning, Janice. I'm sorry, my computer keeps shutting out, but the devil is a lie. If shut out, I'm going to come back up. He wanted to destroy me then. But my mom sit by my bed and she would pray all night. She'd just sit there. She wouldn't do nothing. She'd just sit there. She'd be just like this. And I'd be laying there in the bed. And I'd be telling her, Mom, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. She'd go, that's okay, baby. That's okay. My mama would watch over me because she knew that I was coming under attack from the enemy because the enemy wanted to destroy me. When I was born, I was stabbed in the back with the scissors after the midwife had cut my umbilical cord. Now, I don't know what my back had to do with you cutting the umbilical cord, but she stabbed me in the back to get me out of here. So it don't matter what we go through or how long we go through it. We have shifted. And I want to encourage you to let you know that you do not have to walk around with this mentality that we think now that you can't have or things are not going to get any better, or I need to just sit down and just be quiet. The devil is a lie. You ain't got no sit down and be quiet. We are overcome by our testimonies in the blood of the Lamb. If we don't give our testimonies, so I want to encourage you because I need you to rise above. I need you to come into this shift where God has shifted us. He shifted us. What you need to do is shift your thinking. You need to think above. You need to raise yourself up. I mean, encourage yourself. Get somewhere and sing some song. I sing all the time. My voice may crack, but God don't care just as long as I'm singing and giving God some glory, some honor, and some praise because He is worthy. He is so worthy. He is so worthy. Suppose when I died at the church, fell dead in the choir stand, dead, D-E-A-D. I mean, put the tag on my pinky toe or whatever toe they put it on. I fell dead in the choir stand. The enemy did not want me here. And I was grown. I had 3 kids when I fell dead. The enemy knows who you are. He knows where you're headed before you get there. But I want to encourage you that no matter what he does, he has no power. All the power he has is the power that we give him when we speak. Well, the enemy busy today. Really, that could be your mentality. That could be God sending you through a test and a trial. That's what it could be. So we have got to, no matter what goes on, we got to encourage ourselves. We're still walking around in warfare when God said it's ended. According to Isaiah 40, the way he said, speak ye comfortably, verse 2, speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished. Her warfare was accomplished. Our warfare is accomplished. This wealth transfer is coming, whether you're going to have the mentality to handle it or you are going to be passed by. It's coming. You done been through all this hell, and you mean to tell me now that you're right here, you're going to let a little bit of thing like some warfare cause you to pass the door of your opening? We can't do that. How long have we waited? How long have we prayed? How long has God been speaking it? When I go back in my journals, you'd be amazed. God had me sit my children down while we were over there going through spiritual warfare. He had me sit them down and tell them about the finances that were coming, about the wealth transfer that was coming. And my son brought it up to me. He go, Mama, do you remember when we were younger and you were talking about the Lord was talking about the wealth transfer? And I said, yeah. And they said, Mama, you remember when he told me to tell my kids. He said, you remember he told you where we were going that our daddy couldn't go? I go, yep. I said, and where is he? Is he with us? And he go, no. I said, well, what that mean? He said, that means the wealth transfer is coming next because my husband couldn't go with us. Matter of fact, during the spiritual warfare, he put us out. Told me, go get your divorce. I'm sick of you and you get out of my house. Those are the nice words. But, it didn't matter. Sometimes we have to wait for the enemy to speak to put us out. And when he did that, I knew that my freedom was there. And a lot of us, the enemy he done got tired of dealing with us and he done put us out. Or we done passed the test and we still want to stay in that same place when that test has already been passed. Come up here. God has shifted. We need to be here. We need to stop thinking the way we think in church. We need to stop. Everybody, what happened to the loving church? A church filled with love. A church, we are all supposed to be in there, in loving and on one accord and touching and agreeing, praying and reaching for the same thing. What happened to it? You mean to tell me PTSD is in the church? Isaiah was letting them know, everybody, we just be so upset because we be going through and then sometimes we go through so long we can't see the forest for the trees. We don't realize that God done put the fire out, but we still over there looking at the smoke and we scared to walk through the smoke because we think it's going to be a big old fire on the other side. Oh, just go through the smoke screen. Just walk through it. On the other side, it's clear. It's peaceful. It's where you're supposed to be. We have got to encourage ourselves. We have got to. Had not David encouraged himself, he would have never been able to hear God tell him to pursue, go up, you shall recover all. You're going to overtake them. Guys, we have come through many things. We have come through many things on this journey, walking with God. These tests, these trials, we have been chosen for some of these situations that we go through, right? I know I was chosen for my domestic violence. I knew it. I knew that Job had went over there and asked God, have you considered Nancy? Yeah, God had asked him, have you considered my servant Nancy? I know what she do every day. I know if I send her on a 40-day fast, she gonna go on a 40-day fast. I know some days she sleeps in her closet. And I know she goes through that house to put scripture on those doors and she prays and she stands and she prays and prays for people's healings, deliverance. She just constantly is walking in the things that I had given her to walk in. She's listening. I know. So when that hell broke loose, in the midst of that 40-day fast, that let me know that God said, your warfare over. And then I had to get honest with God because I was at a place where I was about to hate my ex-husband. And I cannot hate anybody. And God knew, he knew where I was. God saw that place where I was. PTSD. That's why when hell broke loose, he put us out. My ex-husband literally spoke my freedom out of his mouth. You go get your divorce. You get out of my house because I'm sick of you. He literally spoke my freedom into existence. How many of us people have spoken our freedom into existence and we still there? We still going through. We still choose to let people treat us any kind of way, to let people talk to us any kind of way. I'm a child of the Most High King. I don't care what nobody else thinks. Do I have any money? No, I don't. Do I need any money? No, I don't. But if God decides he wants to give me some of this wealth transfer, I'm going to take it because he gave me this journal. He told me to start. This is not the journal that I write in every day for when God gives me a vision or when God speaks something into my spirit. This is my journal pertaining to business and finance. It's what he had me to do. And I got it sitting. I got it wrote. I got the tithes where they go. I got the children's inheritance where it's supposed to go. I mean, everything to the letter. But if I had sit over there in a mentality and still reflecting on polar me, all of that, they don't polar me. I got a big mouth. I don't have no time. And Isaiah over here, he's encouraging them. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to encourage God's children because we're in the season where we need encouragement. Everything going on. The president has lost his mind. But the thing about the president is all of us, just like Pilate. You remember when Jesus stood before Pilate and he said, you say you're the Son of God? You're Jesus, the Son of God? And Jesus told, well, you don't spoke it out your mouth. And then he tell them, I'm just paraphrasing, you don't know who you're talking to. Don't you know I got the power to free you or have you crucified or killed? And Jesus told him, I can imagine the look he gave him. The only power you got is the power that you got from my Father on high. So the impalatable, he was real looking stupid then. People ain't got no power. We running around and cowering and they can't do. The script has been flipped. Come out of your PTSD, your spiritual PTSD, and stop thinking that you're in something that you're not. Isaiah was telling them, God done told him to tell him. I said, go encourage my people. You wouldn't believe the stuff that I'm hearing and I'm seeing up here in heaven. They sitting over here, bogged down under something that they have created themselves. I said, go over there, encourage my people, because I need them to raise their mentality here because they're here. And you cannot get anything when you're here. You need to be here. I said, go tell them. Go tell them that a warfare is accomplished. We don't need to go to the doctor to get no pills for the things we're going through, because what he tells a physician, heal thyself. Lay your hands on your mind. You have the mind of Jesus Christ. And God is not giving you no spirit of fear, but a power and love and of a sound mind. That's why it's so important that we need to pray over our spiritual ears so we can hear what God is saying. Our spiritual vision so that we can see what he's saying. We even have to have our smell prayed over so we'll be able to smell. And we didn't have our mouth prayed over so we'll be able to speak it. We can decree a thing and it shall be established unto us. And he will cause the light to shine up on our ways, is what he tells us. And then we have to cover our spirit man. And then we have to be conscientious. Don't waste time. Time is precious. We have got to harness time. So we got to spend time with God. We got to move in the things of God because they are here. And the reason that we don't see them here is because we have not shifted with the shift. Some of us are just stubborn. I'm not moving. You can stay right. You ain't got to move. I choose to move with the shift. The higher you go up, yeah, you got bigger demons, bigger devils, the higher you go up. But while you were down here going through PTSD, reflecting on all this crazy stuff, you should have been learning that as you go up, if he fought those battles there, the enemy, when you get higher in God, the enemy probably sitting up like this. I don't know which way she's gonna come from, but I know the Lord done equipped her for it. So y'all brace yourself, demons, brace yourself, imps, because we got one coming now that's gonna break the sound barrier. Raise your mentality up to where God needs you, because in this season, God needs us to come forth with the power that He's given us. It's time out for PTSD. The warfare is over. He told Isaiah, go encourage them. Tell them to stop sitting over there thinking that they have no power, because God has given us power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. And nothing shall by any means harm us. Just walk upright. Just bring your mentality to the shift. The shift is waiting on you. It can't move unless you catch up to it. It can't move until you connect. And we got to connect ourselves with God. We cannot go to church on Sunday and Monday through Saturday. We think we're going to live over yonder, raise hell, gospel, talk about people, mistreat people, do what we want for 6 days. And then that 7th day, we go up in there looking like angels. God came, and the majority of this word is in here. He talking to us Christians. Why? Because we messy, and we might as well tell the truth about ourselves. We messy. We see somebody that ain't dressed like we is, and we got to talk about what they got on. It don't matter what I wear to church, long as it smell good, and long as it matches. Because we can come as you are. You don't have to dress up to go into the church. I got nice clothes. I hadn't pulled them out, but it doesn't matter about what we wear on the outside. That inner man has got to be clean. That inner man has got to raise his level of thinking and encourage himself. There's not always somebody around you that you can call to encourage you. Why? Because they're going through too. Sometimes you have to cut off. God tell you got too many people in your circle. Cut them off. Cut them off. Everybody don't want to pray the way you pray. Everybody don't want to do the things that you do. Everybody don't want to spend their time in the Bible. People don't want to go into no prayer closet. Then when they call you, ask what you doing. I'm in my prayer closet right now. You want to pray with me? No, they don't want to pray with you. No. I called to talk to you about sister so-and-so. But then when you tell them stuff like that, well, okay, then I'm going to let you go on and finish your prayer. Right, because I ain't got no time for you. I don't have no time. So Isaiah told them that their warfare had been accomplished and that their iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for her sin. Guys, do you not know what time it is? We done been through hell. Do you still want to continue to go through hell, or do you want your part of the wealth transfer? It's not only a part, it says double. Double. God is going to compensate you for the hell that you've been through. Compensation. I don't know about y'all. I want my double portion. I want my children delivered because they were raised in the church. And God told me if I contend with him, he would contend with me and he would save my children. Now he done told all of us that's got some wayward children that's out there acting crazy. Think they supposed to be a man with a man and a woman with a woman. That's some crazy stuff. We are waiting on God to deliver our children in extramarital affairs. I mean, you name it. We got a lot going on out there. They hooked on drugs, alcohol, everything. We've been praying through them battles. Sometimes we have to wade through deep water because some of the stuff our children get in, the water is up here. And if you can't swim, you can't keep your head above that water with the situation with your children, with your husband, going through domestic violence. If you can't keep your head above that water, or catch hold to a word of God so what God can cause you to rise above. And I know he will. Why? Because over in Kings, a man was using a borrowed axe. As he was working, the axe had flew off and sunk to the bottom of the sea. And he was telling the Lord, Elijah, about it. And he said, would it be all right? Go get you another one. He go, no, it was borrowed. He caused that axe head, and I know a piece of iron or heavy rock or something cannot float back to the surface. But he told me to get that stick. He go, swirl around in there, swirl around, And next thing you know, the axe head done rose up, and the man grabbed the axe head. If God can cause an axe head to rise back up out of the water, for the man to get it and put it back on the stick and go back to work. God is concerned about our mentality. And we're going to have to raise it in this season because what God is doing in this season, God is moving in this season. God is chastising. The giants are falling. And he is rewarding his children for every battle scar that you have earned on this journey. I was watching this picture yesterday. This little boy was looking for his daddy to come back from the service. It was the Confederates against the Lord, what was it? It was the blue coats and the gray coats or whatever. But anyway, the gray coats were walking back in, and his daddy was a part of the gray coats. So they run around through there and they asked him that he didn't know his daddy. They were so beat, they were so battered. Some they were carrying, others they was walking and leaning on each other, and some was on horseback. I mean, I think they even brought in some dead bodies, but they had rags around their head, faces dirty, blood here, there, arms and slings, all of this. But you know what? The battle was great, but they made it home, and they were focused on getting home. We got to be focused. Not only is he talking about this wealth transfer, but God is also talking about in verse 3, he's talking about the voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. We still got to be telling people about God, because the enemy be thinking he done won. But he ain't. You still push Jesus. Because the first people that we have to minister to are our family members. We have to encourage them because we see how they're living. You have to put God in there because they don't want to follow you. My family know my past. But then, it's sad when they know my past and I know their past, but my past, they think maybe was a little worse than their past, right? If you ain't got no past, you ain't got no future. And then I know where I came from. And when I went, and the enemy will try to throw you back in there. When he flashed mine in front of me, I go, oh, Lord, thank you. Woo, thank you for bringing me through it. But the enemy thought I was going to sit over there and go, "Ooh, oh, I feel so bad." I ain't got time to feel bad. That was in the past. What God said, what Isaiah told him, he said that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord, saying double for all her sins. God forgive our sins. We the ones that sit over there and bring them back up and focus on them. I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for it. If they receive me, who cares? I would much rather you did. But my sister, she at the point now she be telling you, plant the seed. Watch it grow. Plant the seed, pass on by. Somebody else will come by there and water it. Then somebody else will come by there and put it in the oven. And then, before they put it in put it in the oven. And then when it comes out, it's either going to come out a big, beautiful risen loaf of bread, or it's going to come out a little sunk thing. And if it's sunk, you didn't put enough yeast in it. You didn't add something. But either way it goes, God is moving. God has shifted. And everything around us is shifting with it. Don't you want to be a part? I don't want you discouraged in a season of blessings. I don't want you discouraged in this season of deliverance. I don't want you discouraged in this season, even if you're one that has been trying for years to have a baby. This is your year to conceive. Where is your mentality? Don't matter how many miscarriages you've had. I don't even know why I'm going this way, but it does not matter how many miscarriages you have had. This is the year that you are going to conceive. It don't matter how long you done battled cancer or high blood pressure or tuberculosis, whatever they done put out there. They got names on everything now. And guys, don't think they finished with us, because they have already got the next pandemic set up. What they going to put out there in the atmosphere to make you sick. They already got it set. And then when it break out, it's going to break out in every country at the same time. Again. But the blood of Jesus, I think some of the stuff they doing, they go, we got too many Christians around here. We going to have to get, what I'm saying? So just brace yourself. Cover yourself with the blood of Jesus. Exercise, eat right. Cut out them sugars and all that stuff, because those things are harmful. Just eat right. Plant your garden. Eat out of your backyard, so you won't be eating out of a backyard. You got to question what they plant this in. In some places they're planting, they're growing stuff in human compost. People have donated their bodies for them to grind up their bodies and turn them into fertilizer. Okay. Suppose they done grinded up the bodies that had AIDS. You know what I'm saying? Suppose they done grind up, the bones of people that have some very contagious diseases and stuff. And then they ain't going to tell you what it is. That's why you need to learn to compost. Learn to compost the stuff that you have in the kitchen that's left over. All you got to do is put some holes in a bucket and start putting it in there, sit it out there in the backyard somewhere. It's going to eventually turn to a nice, black, fertile soil that you can put back into your garden. So, guys, we have got to raise our mentality. We have got to walk in what God has called us to walk in. We have got to go forth. Why I say that is because we have so many people that are walking around like this. And then some of them, you see their face and they're hurting. We have got to encourage each other. Israel knew they was going into captivity. They knew it. Israel went in captivity with a mentality that I'm pretty sure it broke some. I'm pretty sure some went in, crying and upset and all of that, but there was nothing they could do. When they went in captivity, they went in at a certain number. When they came out of captivity, they had grown soul. They were in the millions when they came out. And some of them still didn't come out. They were still over there in that mentality, and they stayed. The Lord don't want us to stay in captivity. He does not want us there. That's why Isaiah's message, and I'm going to ask the Lord, how am I gonna put that in? How you, you know, because I always have a question before I get on here. I want to make sure God is telling me to come on here. So when He started giving me pieces, and God gives bits and pieces, I get you. It's up to you to go find the other pieces that go with it, put the puzzle together right, and so. When He started speaking to me about this, because I was in the closet getting ready to do my prayers, but He sent me here. And so I guess I didn't need to pray right then. I guess I needed to do this. But either way it goes, we have to encourage each other. We are, whether we like it or not, we are our brother's keepers. We are. And we have to keep them encouraged. When we see somebody going a crazy way, because I know one of my brothers used to talk crazy all the time. I go, oh, God ain't in there. Stop that. And he be trying to say stuff that he did in his past. I go, oh, you got to pay for that. God gonna whoop you for that. And I know he got tired of being in the car. He had shut up and he had changed to another conversation. I don't care. Every time he thought he had something crazy, it's like, you got to pay for that. You don't have to pay for that because we got to reap what we sow. But that still didn't stop him from jumping in the car with me. I mean, he jumped in the car with me, 3, 4, 5 times. He was my road dog. Everywhere I went, I called, you want to do such and such? Yeah, let me put some clothes on. I said, okay, I'm on my way. So he be ready. He getting no matter how many times. But when he says something out of the way, I'm like, God gonna get you for that. Because you had no business doing that. You got to pay for that. I said, we got to see God in everything that we do. He still get in that car. So evidently the words that I was giving him was helping him because he kept jumping in the car. He kept jumping in. You think that he just wanted to say, no, girl, I'm going to stay at home because I know she's going to say something about God. But either way it go, he kept jumping in there. It didn't matter how many times I went over there. He was ready. Yeah, let me get some clothes on. So we got to keep telling. And I truly believe before he left here, he had got it right with God. I believe it because I was telling him. Every time he thought something dumb, stupid coming out of his mouth, I said, what he had done in his past. Stop bringing up your past. You bring your past. You don't need that. You don't need to bring your past up condemning yourself. But I said, oh, God. But he kept jumping in the car. He kept jumping in the car. I kept saying, God. But either way it goes, I believe God. And I believe that Andrew got his soul right before he left here. So, guys, I just want to encourage you. Go over and read Isaiah 40 for yourself because it even gets down to the end of the chapter. And it tells us in verse 31, he said, but they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They should mount up with wings as eagles. They should run and not be weary. They should walk and not faint. We're in the season. This wealth transfer is coming. Like I said, I can go back through this journal here in March, where God had just started just talking about the wealth transfer, wealth transfer, wealth transfer, wealth transfer. And so it's closer than it was. And all of those of us that have an assignment, a kingdom assignment, you need to start a journal, your financial journal, with the things and how and where you're supposed to put those finances. All of it's not yours. So don't get the big head because all of it's not yours. And but the way it goes, your tithes and your offerings, they go to the church. You have children, they're young children, set aside an inheritance for them. But if they're grown, give them their inheritance. And wherever else the Lord has gave you to write down to where that wealth is supposed to go. because it's all about kingdom building. It's all about it. But if we're at a place where we are not encouraged and we are walking around like we got PTSD and we ain't never been in no well, we're in a spiritual fight, spiritual war. We had never been in a natural war, but we still around with this PTSD. We we need to wake up. We need to wake up. There's no more shrapnel flying over our head. There's no more confusion going on, and we battling and waking up with different situations because the enemy gets up. That's why I tell you it's so important that those 3 o'clock prayers. When God has directed you to get up and pray at 3 o'clock, get up and pray. You don't know what nobody's going through. You don't know where your prayer is going at 3 a.m. It could be in Africa, it could be in Israel, it could be in Egypt, wherever God needs you as a vessel he can use just to get that prayer up and out and to the appointed person. So get up. All of the watches are important. If you on the watch from at 9 a.m., 6 a.m., or whatever. If God is put in your spirit, okay, I need you to pray. I want you to be one of the intercessors or the prayer warriors or for 6 a.m. You already up. Go on in your secret place and pray. Now 3 o'clock a little bit hard, but nevertheless, not my will. And pray I be more obedient. You know what I'm saying? Because I be trying to hug that pillow for 5 more minutes, and that ain't right. That's cheating God. If God held back waking me up 5 minutes, if God had chosen not to send that little woman, I don't know, angel, whatever, send her through that crowd that was back there around me when I had fell dead and they had took me out of the choir stand and laid me on the back pew at the back of the church. I know I saw everything going on. I was laid out, but I was right here and I was looking at what was going on with my body after I had died in the choir stand. There was no pulse, there was no heartbeat, and I was not breathing. The only way I knew that I was dead was my sister-in-law had them come and check me, and there was nothing there. So somebody went and called 911. The ambulance on the way. They standing around. They had laid me on the back pew, and they had my arms up like this, like they had put me in a casket. I saw me, and they're just looking. They didn't know what to do. There was this little lady. She came and pushed through them, and she got over there where I was, and she had this bottle in her hand. She had a bottle in her hand. She took the top off. She put, I guess, oil in her hand. She did my feet. She did my hands. She did my head. And then I felt myself coming from here. I don't expect you to understand it, but I know where I was. I was coming from here. I came back down and I went back in my body. And then I felt myself like jerk. And then I opened my eyes. And all these people were around me. And I'm looking at them like, what's going on? They asked me, was I all right? I go, yeah. By that time, the ambulance, they had come through the door with the stretcher. And they had put me on it. I got in the ambulance. They asked me, did I know where I was? I said, yes. I'm in the ambulance, and they go, I said, well, can I get out now? They go, no, we got to take you to the hospital. We got to check you out. We got to find out what happened. I'm going, okay, so get to the hospital. Guys, they could not find a thing. They couldn't. They wanted to put it on something called what? Mitral valve prolapse. But God had delivered me from that when I first came into the ministry. They had me on these nitroglycerin pills. Just a little bit of my testimony before I get off, but they had put me on these nitroglycerin pills. I had to put one on my tongue every day, however they had it. And so one day I was in the bathroom and the Spirit of the Lord, he called me by my name. And I answered him and he asked me, how long are you going to take those pills. I said, what? He said, how long are you going to take those pills? He said, don't you know they are a crutch from the devil? And I was like, oh, I was just like that because I'm going. So I took the pills now. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna say I was obedient all they want to pour them down the toilet, right? Because I thought they was helping me. I took them out of the medicine cabinet. I sit them on the back of the commode, right? I let them sit there for a week. I didn't have no problems with my heart. Nothing. So after that week, I opened them up, poured them down the toilet, and never got a prescription filled ever again. To this day, they cannot find any mitral valve prolapse. To this day, I have not had a problem with my heart or anything to this day. March 20th, 2025. That was when I was young in the marriage and my babies were young, but my babies are grown now. Everybody living their life. So God is a healer. God is a deliverer. And I just thank him for everything that he has done for me, what he's done for you, what he's doing for you, what he's gonna do for us. And God, this has been the hardest message to get out because my computer done shut down 3 times. 3. And I just go back in, start back. I put part 2. You see, I put part 2, part 3. And if there was going to be a part 4, I was going to put part 4. Because God wants us encouraged. When he brings us out of captivity, he's not bringing us out empty-handed. That's why Isaiah was over there comforting them. You're coming out of this, but you're not coming out empty-handed. They didn't leave Egypt empty-handed. They came out of Egypt weighed down with gold, silver, you name it. You gave them extra pigs, chickens, cows, whatever. Extra wood to build that. Take it all. Take it all. And see, the enemy, everything the giants have tried to do in our lives to cause us to lose focus. Take it. Take it. I just need you to go. I just need some peace. Watch God. Sit back. He done shifted. Come on up a little higher. It's where God wants us. So we'll know what's going on in this shift. We'll understand and we will prepare our minds and our bodies and our spirit, because all those things have got to work together. You don't want no blessing when you're sitting over there swallowing down all them hamburgers and hot dogs and eating all that processed food and stuff. And then next day you go, because you don't know what they put in that food when they process it. Because I ain't never seen you gonna put chicken in a package. I always thought that the chicken breast came off of a chicken that come out in a big old, clump. How you put that in something unless you done mix something in there? Guys, we don't know what they put in this food that we put in our bodies. That's why we need to grow our own stuff. Put some seeds in the ground. The only way you won't grow nothing is if you don't put nothing in the ground. And you can start your own sweet potato and white potato spuds to go in the ground. All you do is put them in a sack and let them sit somewhere for 2-3 weeks. And next thing you know, they got the little spuds on them, the little eyes. But yeah, we got to do for ourselves. We got to, because the more they process food for us, the more they put in there. Shredded cheese is not shredded cheese by itself. It has some wood in it and to help it shred. So guys, just to encourage you and just to let you know, as Isaiah went out there encouraging people, I want to encourage you, and I want to make sure that we know what time it is, and we know the season that God has us in, and we're ready for it, no matter what. Never let the enemy see you sweat. No matter what the enemy tells you, no matter what the doctor tells you. I have a brother right now that's living with pancreatic carcinoma, pancreatic cancer. Now he has had it for years. Now I remember when he died, when he was going through pancreatitis and all this stuff. I remember when he died at the hospital, they had to bring him back. And when we went and saw him, he had tubes everywhere. It was a tube out of everything, everything. And he was laying up there, and God sent me every day. You go, you go. You got to pray. You got to pray. So I had to go every day and pray. When I went in with him, I go, you want prayer today? Because he couldn't talk. So I said, all righty, here we go. So pray every day. And I went up one day and he was up there talking, sitting up, sipping on some juice or something. And didn't have the tube down his throat or nothing. Breathing on his own, everything. And I was praising God because I thought that he was doing so good. They took him off of it. But they say your body, when your body knows that it's time to come off of those respirator tubes, some kind of way it regurgitated up out of your body. And his body had rejected it and had got it up out of his body. And so they saw no need to put it back in there. And he's sitting up in there and he started talking about telling us when he had died and he was walking with God. He said, we were both in white. And he said he was walking with God, and God told him, you got to go back. He said, because it's not your time. He's been there ever since. They can't understand why he still got pancreas cancer and ain't nothing going on with him. He one of them lacks. You remember Sister Lack? They still using her cancer cells for study and all of that. And she's been there. I think she died at age 33 or something like it. She was a young lady when she died, but she was a black lady with strange cells that would reproduce or something. I just got through reading on her the other day. And her family won their lawsuit against them because they took her cells without their permission and without her knowing and without her giving her permission. So he's one of those that's walking around here with pancreas cancer. So nobody can tell me that just because you have cancer, you have got to die. Nobody can tell me that. I'm looking at two miracles, my brother and my sister. Don't let nobody put no time stamp on you. That's why it's so important that you need these, your spiritual ears, so you can hear what God's saying. You should not die but live and declare the glory of the Lord. You got to have your eyes, your spiritual eye, because they'll show you anything on the x-ray. And then you got to have that smell, so you'll be able to smell a lie when it's coming out of somebody's mouth. I hate to put it that way, but and then you got to be able to speak. You got to be able to decree a thing. And it's going to be established unto you. And God going to shine the light on your way. We got to know what God is telling us in this word. Because if we know what he's telling us in this word, there's no devil in hell can tell you something different from this word. I'm more than a conqueror. And God tells us that the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of stronghold, casting down imaginations, every high thing that has exalted itself above the knowledge of Christ. Every stronghold, you got the power to pull it down. Recognize it when the Spirit tells you what it is, when he shows it to you in a vision. Speak out of your mouth where you want it to go, because it's got to go. Send it over yonder in the sea somewhere where it won't ever rise again. Use the power God gave you. I'm learning that. I'm learning it. At 63, I am not too old to learn. And I will never be higher than my teacher. Ever. He is the teacher. Jesus Christ is the teacher. We will never be higher than he is. And that's what's wrong with some of these scientists now. This man put an equation on the board when I was going to Faulkner University, and he told my friend Brother Lamont, he said, he wrote that equation up there. He said, according to this equation, Jesus does not exist. Needless to say, the class was dropped. And, go on to get another class, because I'm not sitting in a class where somebody sitting up and talking about you could write some numbers on the board and tell me that God does not exist. As long as I have been in this world, since before I even cried into this world, God was in existence. That's why you got to know him for yourself. You got to get that relationship with God together in order for you to stay encouraged. Isaiah 40 verses 1 and 2 encourage you. We got to stop waddling around in here. Some of these things we did in the past. The past is the past. God forgave you for it. Get up. Move on. Stop dwelling. I have a neighbor right now that's dwelling on his past. And I went over and I prayed for him because he wanted prayer. He said he'd been drinking ever since he came back from Iraq. He had been in the service 8 years. Some of the stuff he did over there, the people he killed, one of them he couldn't shake. And he wanted prayer. I said, okay. My son go, uh-oh. I was just laughing. I said, he wants some prayer. We're going to pray for you, brother. And all I know is the Lord said his word had went out and it was not going to return back to him void. It's going to accomplish what he sent it out to accomplish. And I believe that. Because the enemy wants to keep him over there, showing him that same vision of that little 8-year-old boy he had killed. And he asked God to forgive him for it. God forgave him, but now the hardest part in any of our lives is that we have problems forgiving ourselves. So, guys, forgive yourselves. Encourage yourselves. God has shifted. God is doing something in our life that we need to be prepared for. And he's given some of us kingdom assignments. I work on mine little by little. I'm looking for things that he has told me to look for. And when I find them, well, Lord, this going to cause this right here. Now be going like, you saw my bank account. Now, one day, the Lord told me to check my bank account, right? I said, what? I know what's in there. So I pulled it up and looked at it. And, okay, I'm just looking at carnal. I saw $29.11. I said, okay, God, I got $29.11 in there. And the Spirit of the Lord said, no, look at it. So I said, okay, $29.11. And the Spirit of the Lord said, look. And so I looked and I go, $29.11. I go, oh, I know the plans that I have for you, said the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope in the future. That's what he was trying to get me to see. But I was over there in the corner looking. I got $29.11, God. So when I came over to the spiritual side of things, and sometimes we look at stuff that we're supposed to look at in a spiritual sense, but we're looking at it in a carnal sense, and that carnal sense has us stuck. We are no longer stuck. Now, I thank God I got all of this out, and I thank God that I pray God just share it with somebody. But like I said, I don't need no money. I don't need no donations. Because he already gave me a means to get wealth. I have several of those if I want to use them. I choose not to. Why? Because I know how far I'll go. When I get tired of baking cakes, I'm tired of baking cakes. When I get tired of it, I'm tired of, unless people ask and want if they need something sold or alterated or anything like unless they ask, I don't offer. Because if I offer, and that means, you know, I'm obligating myself. But, there's going to come a time where I'm going to have to use every last one of them. Every last gift God has given me. My sister always told me I had a coat of many colors. I never understood what they meant until I got to going through. But either way it goes, God, pray my strength in the Lord. Share the video because it's more than us out there that needs encouragement. And go you one better. I encouraged myself first. He gave it to me first. So he got to encourage me because he knew maybe I was somewhere where I didn't need to be. Don't focus over there on that. I need you here. He had me to go pull out the journal that I told you, and I gave you all that information that you need to have for the next phase of what's coming. Because the next phase, this is the big phase, the big one. Like my science teacher, and I hated science. They wanted us to dissect frogs. He pulled a number out. It was number 23, and he would pull it out. He go, "Oh, this is a good one." And I'd be going, I knew it was my number because he always would say it when he pulled 23 out. This is a good one. So, guys, this is a good one. This is a good one. And it's not just my number on this one. All of our numbers is on this one. And this is a good one. So, guys, y'all be blessed today. I got to get out. I got to go get some pots because I need to start planting my potatoes buckets, to put them in these 5-gallon buckets so I have my potatoes ready to put out after this frost. And I got to go outside and cover up my peach tree because Candace Ann has decided she wanted to put her blooms on her now. She always does that every year before we get our first frost. Her name is Candace Ann. Might be going out there. I don't know what your problem is. There's nobody in this yard for you to impress because I only bought one peach tree. But she get out there blooms and blossoms just as pretty. And then when that frost hits, so I got to go cover her up. I got to go double cover her because I want some peaches this year. But she ain't going to act right. Typical female. But either way it goes, I'm off. I got work to do. So guys, y'all have a blessed day in the Lord. And I will see y'all next time. My finger it's sore. I would unwrap it and show you the pin. They got a pin going down through it crossways to hold the he reconstructed the tendon and he pinned it together. So I got to have that pin in here for 6 weeks. They took the stitches out, so I had to keep it wrapped. But I take it off so I can get some air because you can't nothing get healed. There ain't no air hitting it. So, but I still can't bend it, and I'm still working on trying to bend this one here because it's been his partner since the 7th of March, and he's stiff too. So after that, I think I got to go physical therapy. But either way it goes, it's better. It's good. I've hit it on the door 2 or 3 times, but it's still better. No pain, just soreness, and it's swollen, but it's only pain when it's not even pain when I squeeze it. It's only pain when I hit it. So I'm trying to be conscientious and not hit it on anything. Miss Angela, how you doing today? But anyway, all is well this day in the Lord. And we just come on over here and come on up a little higher because that's where God is calling us. We got to leave this. We got to go spiritual. Get in that spiritual realm and get there and stay, and then we won't be distracted with the things that are going on down here on this earth because this is not our home. We are just passing through. We're visiting. It's like I had a 63-year vacation, and I'm so, but to God be the glory, guys. I'm off to go and get what I need this morning, and I will check with you the next time the Lord wants me to come on. But I got to come on. I got to show y'all how my My plants are doing for before I get ready to up pot them, or before I get ready to go and put them outside. They've been doing really good, so I'm ready to let y'all see that. But anyway, y'all have a good one.